Boy, that Nosferatu guy, he certainly has some creepy hands. Just pretty creepy to look at. Just ugly and disgusting. Very creepy. Who'd want to look at that? Just creepy stuff. Nosferatu, released in 1922 and is directed by F.W. Murnau, who's also behind such films like Journey into Night, The Haunted Castle, and The Burning Soil. And this silent film that is over 100 years old is starring Max Schreck, Gustav von Wangenheim, Greta Schroeder, Alexander Ganach, Ruth Lanschoff, and Wolfgang Heinz. The year is 1838, and Thomas Hutter has been sent to Transylvania by his employer to work out some real estate stuff with a local lord and rich person in the Transylvania area. Think you know where I'm going with this. While there, Thomas Hutter is creeped out by the lord by the name of Count Olak, who, if you didn't realize was a vampire the first time you saw him, I would say you need to get your eyes checked. Count Orlok buys a property by Thomas Hutter so that he can get all stalkery and creepy with his fiancée, wife. I'll be honest, I completely forgot. There's a lot about this movie that I kind of just fell asleep through. I'm gonna be honest. I was watching it late at night, and with these silent films with the orchestra playing and the slow moving. I'm sorry, I fell asleep. I fell asleep a couple of times. My phone fell out of my hands, and yeah, but I'm here reviewing it because, you know what, I pushed myself through it, damn it. I had heard so much about this movie from other film reviewers and film critics, calling this one of the scariest movies of all time, or at least a film that is incredibly important to film history when it comes to establishing horror and German Impressionism, which, you know, I've studied and I know. And the film absolutely has those things. The imagery, especially when the Count comes on screen and you see the long fingers, the sharp teeth, the pointy, like, just jaw, the shape of the jaw, and the ears sticking out. It's a horrifying scene. The silhouettes they have of him creeping up the hallway, they're iconic, and they're still scary today. So scary that Robert Eggers, who is behind The Lighthouse and The Vivitch and The Northman, is remaking this film this year, which is why I wanted to watch it for the Halloween season. Got all my Halloween decorations up and everything. Didn't think I was going to get it up this year, but you know what? I did, and I think it's a lot of fun. So I wanted to check the silent version out before I checked out the brand new version in December from Robert Eggers, a director who I absolutely love, and I've loved everything that they've put out so far. And I can definitely see where, you know, this is 1922, and if I were seeing these images on screen for the very first time, there's no interwebs, there's no movies previously, there's no TV, you only have images from books, and if you were reading at the time, you know, you would maybe have a sense of what a vampire conceptually would look like. But here, if this is my first viewing of what a vampire looks like, yeah, I would be terrified. But myself and kids today are so desensitized with the whole vampire and horror thing that when you go back and watch this movie, everything is just not scary. Except for that silhouette of the fingers walking up the stairs. That one was creepy as hell. Do the creep! And do the creep! But the main takeaway that I have from this movie is that the silent films that I've gone back to watch reviewing on this channel, I've noticed that all silent film actors and actresses are ugly. You know what I mean? Looking at every actor on screen, every single one of them, in their own way, is ugly. And they all have terrible, terrible haircuts, which is obviously the style of the time, the mid-part, half-mid thing. It just looks awful. But, you know, it's the 1920s, so good for you. And as you watch this movie and it goes along and these characters are just slowly trotting along and trying to be as scary as hell, I noticed that this is very reminiscent of the Bram Stoker's Dracula, but no one is using any of the names from that story. And then doing some research, I discovered that, yeah, this is almost a complete plagiarism of that work. So the descendants of Bram Stoker actually sued the producers and the makers, everyone involved in this film, to where they won, and they ordered that all copies of Nosferatu should be destroyed, which I would assume that that's why, the main reason why this film is so legendary is that it survived its court decision to be destroyed because of plagiarism. Because if you've watched anything Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula, the classic from 1933, and then you go back to watch this movie, they're almost identical, except Nosferatu is not using any of the official names in anything. Nosferatu, I absolutely have respect for it when it comes to the history of horror and where everything that we have nowadays when it comes to film, where it comes from. But me living here in 2024, going back to see this 102-year film, it definitely doesn't scare me. Other than the creepy silhouette, which I've referenced several times here. But other than that, this is just a long, drawn-out story. I put the playback speed up to 2 times, and it still felt like this film was 3 hours. It was just boring. Nothing was happening on screen for the majority of the time. So if you want to get a sense of how film was 100 years ago, yeah, maybe go back and check this film out. It would probably give you a nice little education. But if you're looking to be entertained, if you're looking to be scared, you are definitely not going to get that with this film. I'm going to give Nosferatu 2 out of 5 Blu-rays. I've had better. So guys, if you've seen Nosferatu, what did you think about it? And I'm sure all of you film buffs out there are going to tell me how wrong and how just crazy I am for not giving this film a favorable score. I absolutely understand. Please comment below and let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.